So, whether we like it or not, the RWBY Justice League crossover is coming, and it's coming very, very soon. We got an exclusive look from the Hollywood Reporter. We got a picture, a shot from the actual movie, and also an article giving us a little bit of a synopsis, giving us some characters that are coming, giving us some voice acting talent. So I'm going to be going through all of it and giving my thoughts about how I feel about this movie coming out and the news that we get here. So let's not waste any more time and let's get on with the article. So before we get started, I guess I should give you my quick thoughts on how I feel about this upcoming movie. I believe it is called, I have the article up right here, so I'm going to be reading through it while talking to you guys. So it's called the Justice League X RWBY Superheroes and Huntsmen Part 1. So there are apparently 2 parts. I don't know if this is because the length of both movies. It's supposed to be a direct-to-digital movie, so I imagine like it can range from somewhere from like 1 hour and 30, I guess, or 1 hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours and something, you know. I'm hoping it's like around 2 hours or something like that, but if it's a part 1, part 2, you know, it could be shorter than that. And of course, like I said, it's direct to digital. It could also have to do with the fact that maybe they just want to give the animators more time and they don't want to rush them, which if that's the case, then maybe you should just prolong the whole movie until everything is ready. But like I said, it could also have to do with the time. I don't think they want to make it as long as the, you know, the Snyder cut. So maybe it is because, you know, they're just cutting it up because the story is that large, which, you know, once again, we'll have to wait and see. My personal opinion about the movie so far is I don't really have one. Like, I'm not super hyped, and at the same time, I'm not, you know, I'm not like, oh, this is an obvious cash grab. Rooster Teeth, Warner Brothers, stop wasting our time. Give us Volume 9 already. Though I do understand people who are like, I would rather just have Volume 9 because, like, this is delaying Volume 9. Which is a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because at least they're delaying it and they're giving Volume 9 the time it needs, rather than trying to put both of them out at around the same time and then having Volume 9 suffer, like similar to My Hero Academia. Like they had season 4, I believe, and the second movie come out at the same time, and the second movie looked amazing, but because of that, season 4 suffered. And same thing for season 5 and the third movie. You know, the third movie looked amazing, but there were parts from season 5 that suffered. Here it looks like they're trying to, you know, focus on the movie. Of course, focus on Volume 9 as well, but they're giving Volume 9 longer, so, you know, it doesn't suffer as much. So that's a good thing. It's a bad thing though, because it is being delayed. Volume 9 is the actual story, and we're all waiting to see what happens with Team RWBY because they're in a very interesting spot right now on the island. We even got a trailer for it, and it looks really hyped, really interesting. So yeah, I can understand people when they're getting, like, you know, upset about that. Me personally, I'm just like, I have to wait and see for more. Like, I feel like Rooster Teeth and Warner Brothers are sort of thinking that Justice League and RWBY, just saying those 2 names in one sentence is enough to get us hyped. And I feel like, you know, just based off of the reactions on Twitter and, you know, just what people are saying, that's just not the case. We definitely need more. So if they want me to be hyped, I'm going to need more than just saying Justice League and RWBY in the same sentence. I'm going to need a lot more than that. Maybe when a trailer comes out, you know, more pictures, maybe, oh, if we get a poster, that will get me hyped. But just, you know, I'm gonna need a lot more than just the name. I'm gonna need a lot more than just these guys in a room. And yeah, I'm gonna need a lot more than just this picture, because this picture doesn't get me hyped. It's just Clark, Bruce, RWBY, and Weiss in the same shot together, and that's just not enough. But let's go over this article. Maybe me talking about it will get me hyped up. Like, we have here an example of what the movie is going to look like, which of course is important. But I think back to the first piece of RWBY Ice Queendom that we got, and it was this really good looking poster of Weiss, Nightmare Weiss, spoilers, I guess, sitting on her throne, like looking like a badass, her long cape. She has an army of robot soldiers behind her, and it was just like RWBY, I think it said RWBY Ice Queendom, and that was it. So there was this mystery. The art looked really good. The Weiss looked badass and looked threatening, and I'm just like, man, maybe Weiss should have been a villain, you know? Like, it just looked really, really good, and it got me, like, excited to see more of Ice Queendom. Imagine, though, if instead of the poster, they instead showed us a shot from the show. And not even, like, a really interesting looking shot, but instead just, like, a shot of when Nightmare Weiss first confronts RWBY. Like, okay, this is new, and I've never seen it before. But, and you know, maybe I would be like, okay, what's going on here? But it wouldn't have generated the same amount of hype as that poster that they gave us. So that's what I think they needed to do here. Show us an interesting poster. Show us, you know, some really interesting visuals that will get us going like, oh man, this actually looks kind of cool. This actually looks kind of fun. Instead, they just have RWBY, Weiss, Clark, Bruce standing in a field together. Once again, they think that the Justice League and RWBY being in the same room will get us super hyped. And maybe it got you guys hyped. Maybe it got some people hyped. But I know that there are also people that are just still going, okay. And I'm kind of just like that as well. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm going to need a lot more than just that. But nonetheless, here we are. We got these guys. What do I think about their look? Weiss and RWBY, they look okay. I mean, they look like how I guess they would look in the show, which, you know, I mean, at least it doesn't look worse, but at the same time, I would expect the movie to look better. Once again, this is just one shot, but the problem is, it's not a very interesting shot. It's nothing that's catching my eye. You know, I guess RWBY looks a little bit less like Milk, which is good. Same thing with Weiss. I mean, I'm glad that they fixed the skin tones, but like, they don't look any different from what they would look like in the show. I mean, at least if they look like I think the best that the RWBY characters have looked like was in the RWBY Volume 5 trailers. Those were, I think, peak looking RWBYs. Like, you had Blake, who had a little bit of a darker skin tone, and then you had, I think, RWBY had a little bit more like color to her face as well. Weiss, like, her action scene looked really nice. Winter as well looked really good. Yang looked really good. Like, you had the sunset and stuff like that. Like, the environment itself also looked really, really good. The Grimm in Yang's fight looked really nice. Like, there were really good visuals. And then after that, like, they sort of just went back to normal, and I don't think they ever really got back to those good looking character models. And I would at least hope that the movie would be at that quality, but when I look at these characters, they just sort of look like they always do, and that's a bit of a shame. Once again, this is just one shot from a whole movie, but this is what they gave us. So if there are better looking shots that don't spoil the movie, then the marketing team is not doing a really good job, because I would have shown that, not this. But then we have Clark and Bruce, and I think Clark looks okay. I like how his character is shown through his facial expressions. Like, he has this like optimistic, like, you know, confident look to him, and the smile I like a lot. He has a bit of a chubby cheeks, but like I'm fine with that. And I think his outfit looks really good as well. I think it looks better than it looks in the comics. By the way, there are comics that are also crossovers between Justice League and RWBY. So we'll talk about that later, because that's actually kind of important. But when I look at this, I think it looks better, at least from this angle, than he did in the comic books. And then after that, you have Bruce, who looks blank. Like, first of all, his skin tone, when I look at like other Bruce Waynes, they have a bit of more of a darker skin tone, like in the Harley Quinn TV show and the classic animated series. Like, he has a bit of a darker skin tone as well. You have some other stuff where, like, in the Batman, like, he is a lot more white. But like here, he kind of has a more, like, you know, whitish, more like, you know, chalkish looks to him. By the way, I didn't mention it, but real quick, also the Clark Kent's hair, they sort of going with an anime slash, you know, classic curl look, which I don't know if it completely works. Like, the spikes being right next to the curl looks kind of weird to me. But yeah, that was just something that I just noticed real quick. But going back to Bruce, the thing that really stands out that I don't like is the fact that he just has such a blank look. Not a stoic look, but just a blank completely out of it look to him right now. Like, he doesn't look like he's actually there. He doesn't look like a character. He just looks like a model. Like, it looks like just they copied and pasted the model there, and then that was it. Like, he's not actually in the scene. He's just there. And that's just not, I really hope that the quality is good in this movie. I hope we don't just have characters that have no character to them, and they actually have a, you know, expressions on their face, whether that it be serious and, you know, stoic, or happy and, you know, optimistic. The cowl really does a lot of the work for Bruce when he's Batman. So without the cowl, I don't know what he's gonna do, but like, they gotta find out how to make him stoic, and, you know, without having him, while also not having the mask on. That's my opinion about the picture. That's how I feel. You know, nothing, it doesn't catch my eye, it doesn't make me hyped for the movie. It kind of just, it's just kind of there, you know. And I think the marketing team really needs to start upping their game, because we need a lot more than just this. I think a poster would have done a lot more good for this, would have done a lot better for this movie than just them standing in a field. That's kind of just it, you know. So moving on to the actual article. So I'm gonna sort of just read parts of it and then just talk about my, you know, give my thoughts. So the Justice League RWBY Superheroes and Huntsmen Part 1 arrives on digital, 4K, and Blu-ray in the spring. This is why I'm saying that they need to start, you know, upping their game marketing wise, because it is kind of coming soon. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Cyborg, Green Lantern, and Vixen are transported to the strange world of Remnant and find themselves turned into teenagers. So going back to the comics, the whole, you know, crossover wasn't really like a multiverse story, as some of you probably know. These DC characters were actually characters from the RWBY world. So, you know, you had Batman, who was Bruce Wayne. He was a Faunus. He was in Atlas. He was rich. You had Superman, who was Clark Kent. He was in hiding because he was afraid that if people found out about his semblance, it would fall into the wrong hands. You know, he had a really powerful semblance. So he was afraid, like, you know, oh, what if the heads of other nations found out? They'd hunt him down, dissect him for testing, use him as a weapon. Wonder Woman was, I think, still from Themyscira, but she was from Themyscira in Remnant. Cyborg was really interesting because, like, I think he was like an astronaut who traveled to space because they were trying to do research on finding a way to use dust in space. Like, I think that was really interesting, but it went wrong. I don't know about I think Green Lantern was just the Green Lantern. Vixen wasn't in there, which I think is really interesting that they're bringing Vixen, because I like that. I like how they're bringing in more black characters, and then after that, the fact that, like, her powers, like the animal kingdom, I think that's really interesting. So that's really cool. But these guys, the fact that it's a multiverse story kind of takes away from the uniqueness, you know. I mean, I imagine the movie isn't canon, so I think they could have had a lot more fun with these characters, actually have them be from Remnant instead of just making it a multiverse story. And also making them teenagers as well. That kind of just gets rid of the shipping altogether, because, you know, I was kind of shipping Clark with RWBY. I think some people were shipping Bruce with Weiss, which I guess they make a good duo. And then after that, you know, you could have Wonder Woman with Blake or Yang or Penny, because, you know, Wonder Woman and Penny are sort of like, they were both sort of just made from, they weren't made through conventional means. But like, or from normal means, I don't know the saying, but having them, you know, be adults and then making them teenagers again, I think that's a little less creative, and also once again takes away from takes out the shipping, because you can't have any shipping because they're all grown-ass people where they're from, you know. Superman has a wife and possibly a kid waiting for him at home. But yeah, so going back to this, meanwhile, Remnant heroes RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang must combine forces with the Justice League to uncover why their planet has been mysteriously altered from before a superpowered Grimm destroys everything. So two things are happening. One, the world is being mysteriously altered. What does that mean? Does that mean that Earth and Remnant are fusing together? Does that mean that, you know, just things are happening all wacky and stuff like that? I'm not sure. But we also have a super powered Grimm. What does that also mean? I don't know. The first thing that I think of is that Dr. Merlot character. Is it Dr. Merlot? The character who was, like, you know, from the video games. Maybe he's like actually the villain in this movie and he's testing Grimm. and either it went crazy or you know he's just ordered it to destroy everything, or maybe this is just a natural thing that's happening, or maybe this is a result of both their universes colliding. I don't know. I think we haven't really gotten much of the threat yet, so it's hard to say. But mysteriously altered, I don't know what that means. So we have to wait and see what villain is coming to the movie. But we have the voice stars now. Natalie Allen Lynn as Wonder Woman / Diana Prince, Chandler Riggs as Superman / Clark Kent, fucking Nat Wolff as Batman / Bruce Wayne. I just think that's funny because Nat Wolff from the Naked Brothers band, like that was that was a fucking blast from the past. Also, I guess from Death Note as well, but I haven't watched that and I never will because I know it's bad. RWBY, so we also have the RWBY, you know the regular RWBY cast: Lindsay Jones, Kara Eberl, Aaron Zek, Barbara Dunkelman. Of course, I think they'd be crazy to replace them. So we also have the producers, supervising producer, executive producers. I don't know if any of these people have worked in Rooster Teeth and RWBY, you know, prior to this. But like none of these names really, you know, I don't know any of these names. Megan Fitzmartin is going to be doing the script, and then RWBY's Carrie Shawcross is directing, giving some guidance as well as far as how the characters should act, how the world should, you know, work and all that stuff. So I think Carrie is the only one from RWBY who is actually in charge of this movie, which I think is really interesting. We're gonna have to wait and see how the movie will look from that. You know, when the last time they did something like this was Ice Queendom, and the characters, I think they sort of benefited from that, honestly. Like, I feel like the characters were a lot of fun in Ice Queendom. I think that was one of the best parts of Ice Queendom, was just the characters and how they interacted with each other and stuff like that. So maybe some fresh eyes, some fresh thoughts, some fresh hands will you know do these characters some good. On top of that, we also get some, you know, announcements of other characters. Vixen, Pyrrha is also going to be in this. This looks like it's going to be taking place during the Beacon arc, just based off of Ruby and Weiss's clothing, which is you know, that seems to be par for the course when it comes to, you know, RWBY things that take place outside of the series. You know, the books do take place after Volume 3, and you know, some of the comics as well. But a lot of the comics also take place during Volume 3 or before Volume 3. We have the manga that takes place before Volume 3. We have Ice Queendom that takes place before Volume 3. A lot of things take place during the Beacon arc, which of course I think makes sense, because the Beacon arc I think is the best jumping on point for RWBY. I think it's like the most fun RWBY is. Like, it's just like a more of a goofy show. They get really a lot more serious after Volume 3, which of course makes sense. But I think, you know, just how the characters act, just how more carefree they are, how their characters shine. I think Volume 3, you know, I understand how Volume 3 can be seen as a good marketing place to put them, so that way once the movie or Ice Queendom is over, they can just be like, all right, if you like that, come check out our RWBY series. You know, start with the trailers, watch Volume 1 and 3, and if you're hooked, then you'll get to see the characters all depressed. And so Pyrrha's gonna be in this, Glinda's gonna be in this, Oscar is gonna be in this, which I'm not sure how that's possible. Maybe just for like one scene or something like that, you know, and they're just like, oh, we'll just put Oscar's name in this because he is technically gonna be in the movie. Jacques is also gonna be in the movie, which could be like a flashback. But then also we have the Flash, Nora, of course, John, Professor Ozpin, Lyran. Kali is going to be in this, which is really interesting. Once again, it could be a flashback, or she could actually be in the movie. I don't know. Maybe like some of the parents are coming to check on their kids and see how they're doing, which honestly I don't think would make sense because Blake hasn't seen Kali since since before Volume 1, which as we know, because of Volume 4. So like, I'm guessing it has to be a flashback of some kind, or maybe the threat is going to start in like Menagerie, and you know how sometimes they show the threat landing on Earth, and then after that, you know, just beating some people up, and then after that being like, oh god, who can stop this? And after that they cut to our heroes. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. And then, you know, Green Lantern, which I imagine is going to be the female Green Lantern with the Green Lantern symbol on her eye, and then after that Cyborg. So, you know, some interesting choices. You know, Oscar, Kali, Jacques, I'm interested in seeing where they're gonna be in the story. But yeah, then after that you have, you know, your regular characters. So RWBY was created by the late Monty Omi, rest in peace, and is the first Western produced anime series distributed in Japan. It has a 9th season currently in the works, with the franchise amassing 271 million views online and generating 20 million in consumer product sales. So I'm guessing like those super overpriced things that they got in the Rooster Teeth shop. No wonder it's at 20 million. But this is not the first time the franchise has brushed with DC with the comic book series. You know, as I explained before, actually it started in 2021 and ended in 2022. But yeah, that's basically all we got of this so far. And like I said, I think the most hyped thing is the fact that Kali is gonna be in the movie, because I'm just interested to see how. Think about this movie, and the thing that I guess I hope for is maybe we can get some world building. I know it's not canon, but maybe we can see some different parts of the world. I think that would be cool. Like, imagine if maybe Team RWBY has to travel somewhere, because they're as a sort of work study similar to like My Hero Academia, and we see some new characters, some new RWBY characters, and we see, you know, a new area, something like that. On top of that, I also hope the animation is good. I hope the fights are good. I hope they're better than they are in the show, because it's a movie, so I hope they put more budget into this. I'm hoping that the characters are a lot of fun, and I hope the interactions are really cool. Like, it's happening, so I hope that it at least happens in a good way. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the upcoming Rooster Teeth DC movie. At the end of the day, we just need more. We need trailers, we need some posters, because at the moment I am not hyped because we haven't gotten enough. But I think I can be hyped. I think with the right trailer, I think with the right poster, I think with more better pictures, you know, once again, non-spoiler, but at least better looking pictures, I can be hyped. But at the moment, I think just Justice League and RWBY in a room together just isn't enough. So tell me what you guys thought about this announcement. Tell me what you guys think about this picture. Tell me what you guys think about this movie. Are you guys hyped? Are you already hyped? Do you need more? Are you never going to be hyped? Do you think this is just a cash grab and they should just move on to Volume 9 already? Tell me all that stuff down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, bye.